Book essay Katarina Blum's Lost Honor. When an ordinary life is destroyed by the media, there are moments in life when we feel helpless and wonder, why do I know so little? Or the world is too complicated and difficult. Reading a book might seem like something reserved for special individuals, packed with difficult words and concepts, causing hesitation among many. Yet, some books are so closely connected to our lives that they open our eyes to understanding the world and offer wisdom to protect ourselves. Today, I'd like to introduce Heinrich Böll's Katarina Blum's Lost Honor, a book that does exactly that. Written in 1974, this novel delivers a surprisingly vivid and powerful message, as if it were our own story today. We live surrounded by countless news and information daily, internet articles, YouTube videos, and social media posts. But are all these stories true? Is everything we see and hear the full truth? This book raises these very questions and exposes how media can completely destroy an individual's life with chilling clarity. 1. The tragic story of an ordinary woman. Katarina Blum. The protagonist of the novel, Katarina Blum, is a 27-year-old housemaid in West Germany. She is diligent, neat, and dedicated to her work. She is trusted by people around her and is economically independent, a true exemplar of a hardworking, ordinary citizen. However, her seemingly normal life begins to unravel after meeting a man. At a dance party, Katarina meets Ludwig Gotten and falls in love, spending a night at his house. The problem arises when Gotten turns out to be a bank robber and fugitive. With Katarina's help, he escapes from her home. The moment this information spreads, Katarina is branded as the girlfriend of a bank robber and the collaborator of a terrorist. From this point, a ruthless newspaper called Zeitung begins digging into Katarina's life. This tabloid, specializing in crime reports, is obsessed with attracting readers through provocative headlines and false stories. They continuously publish articles about her, prying into her private life, distorting statements from her acquaintances, and even reconstructing her past according to their own agenda. For instance, when Katarina briefly stayed at a convent in high school, the paper sensationally labeled it as kissing a nun, suggesting a sexual relationship. Her living alone after a divorce was portrayed as cold and cunning. Her diligence and cleanliness were twisted into a cold, calculating personality, and every aspect of her ordinary life was manipulated and exaggerated as if part of a grand conspiracy. Eventually, Katarina can no longer live as an ordinary citizen. Her honor is trampled, and people around her view her with scorn and mockery. Her mother, shocked by the news' false reporting, falls ill and dies. Although a police investigation takes place, the media's sensational coverage and public opinion have already condemned her as guilty. In the end, Katarina kills the journalist Tetzner, who most cruelly attacked her, and the novel objectively recounts this murder, compelling readers to ponder what drove her to such an extreme act. 2. Böll exposes the media's unmerciful violence. Nobel Prize-winning author Heinrich Böll strongly criticizes the media's merciless violence in this novel. He highlights how the media invades personal lives, distorts facts, and destroys an individual's dignity and life. Set in 1970s West Germany, the novel reflects real-life examples, such as the tabloid Bild, which held significant influence at the time. Böll was particularly enraged by how such newspapers irresponsibly labeled youth protests as terrorist riots. This novel was born from his frustration and warning. In the novel, the Zeitung is depicted almost as a weapon of murder. It shows how pens and paper can kill a person's life, how mental and social existence can be annihilated without physical violence. Rather than seeking truth, the media fabricates facts solely to increase sales and clicks, exploiting people's primitive curiosity and hatred. To the media, Katarina Blum is not a human being but a story for their business. Her pain, anger, and truth mean nothing to them. Böll warns that when media spreads propaganda instead of truth, it becomes a dangerous weapon. Media must act as a watchdog of society and deliver truth, but when it fails due to power or profit, society falls into chaos. 3. The lost honor and collapse of humanity. The core theme of this novel is honor. Katarina Blum has always worked hard to preserve her honor, which was not just about public perception but the foundation of her existence. However, due to the media's distorted reporting, her honor is shattered, and her life is entirely rejected. Losing honor is not just losing social status, it represents the destruction of an individual's identity and dignity. Katarina can no longer be herself. People label her as a terrorist's mistress, and her life is trapped in a false image created by the media. With her honor gone, the meaning of her life disappears. In the end, she makes an extreme choice, driven by the despair of losing everything. This book also addresses the issue of humanity. The journalists do not see Katarina as a human being, treating her as a tool for producing articles or a product for profit. The readers, swayed by media coverage, brand her as a criminal, lacking empathy or understanding. This inhumane attitude ultimately leads to the tragedy of turning a normal woman into a murderer. Bull warns us that making snap judgments without seeing the human face behind others' stories is dangerously wrong. For a warning bell today, 50 years later, fake news and cyberbullying. Though written nearly 50 years ago, this novel's message remains a powerful warning for today's society. Today, the violence of media spreads even faster and more dangerously than before. Fake news and information overload. In the past, newspapers were the main source of information, but now the internet and social media dominate. With just a few clicks, countless pieces of information flood in, but distinguishing the truth from the lies and the intent behind them has become increasingly difficult. The role once played by Zeitung is now easily assumed by anonymous individuals or groups in online spaces. Manipulated images, distorted videos, and intentional fake news spread rapidly, shaping public opinion and distorting the truth. Cyberbullying and witch hunts. In the novel, Katarina is publicly criticized and mocked through newspaper reports. Today, online communities and social media comments facilitate cyberbullying and witch hunts. A small mistake or misunderstanding can rapidly escalate, exposing personal information and bombarding the victim with malicious comments and criticism, often leading to professional or educational consequences. Even without official media reports, anonymous, irresponsible attacks from individuals can ruin someone's honor and life, mirroring Katarina's tragic story. The responsibility of influential media such as TV, newspapers, YouTube, and podcasts still hold tremendous power. As Bull criticized, if these media prioritize ratings, views, or circulation over truth, their impact will be much greater than in the 1970s. This can harm not only individuals but also cause societal distrust and chaos. The importance of media literacy. The story of Katarina Blum reminds us of the critical need for media literacy. It urges us to develop critical thinking about the information we consume, where it comes from, what intent it carries, and whether facts and opinions are properly separated. Acting without judgment, blindly believing or condemning, and emotionally aligning with others to criticize them means becoming part of another's Zeitung. 5. A question for us all: are you on Katarina Blum's side or on Zeitung's side? Katarina Blum's lost honor is not just an old story or piece of literature, it is a living warning. This book asks us several important questions. Are we truly trying to see the truth? How aware are we that the information we receive is possibly manipulated or distorted? Are we respecting others' honor and dignity? When hearing others' stories, do we make hasty judgments and criticisms, or do we attempt to empathize and understand? If we were to become victims like Katarina Blum, who would protect us? The book deals not with complex philosophical or political theories, but with a tragedy that could happen in our own lives. It reveals that the cause of this tragedy lies in irresponsible media and easily manipulated public opinion. Accumulating knowledge and cultivation means more than just knowing a lot. It means developing the ability to critically observe the world, uphold human values, and cherish the lives of others, including ourselves. Katarina Blum's Lost Honor is a book that makes us realize how much wiser and more thoughtful we can become through reading. After reading it, you will likely view the news, social media posts, and rumors about others with greater caution and critical thinking. Through the tragic story of an ordinary woman, we are prompted to deeply reflect on how to live in the media age and what we should protect and watch out for as humans. This book will greatly assist you in broadening your perspective on the world, protecting yourself, and gaining the invaluable wisdom to respect others.